it's Misty from TheJollyFatElf, and I'm back today with another Festive Friday video. Today, I've had several comments on several videos of people requesting that I continue coloring with my Spectrum Noir markers. So I'm going to do that today, and we're going to color this really cute image from Krista with Drawn with Character. I think it's supposed to be a polar bear holding an ornament, but we're going to turn him into a brown bear. And we're going to do that because this is the paper pad I'm going to use. This is the Bundled Up by Carta Bella, and I believe this came out in 2013. Oh no, 2014. So if I can find it, I will link to it as always. But it's really cute. I haven't really decided what patterns I'm going to pick out of this, but I do know that I'm going to use either Early Espresso or Cherry Cobbler cardstock. I haven't quite decided. So this is a pattern paper, and then I'm going to use this sketch from Operation Right Home. Hopefully you can see that. If I can remember, I will link it. I know that I forgot to link it in the last video where I used the sketch, so I will try to do that. I'm relying on natural light today because I'm home, because Dallas had a quote-unquote mini blizzard. Well, it's a blizzard for us. We ended up getting like an inch or so of ice and then 4 inches of snow on top of it, and we're just not built for that. So another video where I'm apologizing if you hear the water running off the roof, but the sun is out, so the snow is starting to melt. But the good thing is that the sun is reflecting off the snow and it's really bright in my craft room. So we're going to use natural light today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color first, and I'm going to go ahead and try to make 4 cards, I think. We'll see. I know the last card was long. And so please let me know if you prefer a shorter video or you don't mind that it's long, as long as you get to see the process. Just let me know, because I can edit it either way. So let me zoom in. So we're going to be coloring this, and like I said, I'm going to color him like a brown bear. So I'm going to be using EB5, EB7, and EB8. I would be using EB6 if I had it, but I don't. Hopefully I'll have it soon. So, and then for his nose, or his snout, I don't know, I'm going to use IG6 and IG8 because I want it to be almost black, but I don't want it to be like the true black. For the ornament, I'm going to be using these two, which aren't even in the same color family. But if you look on my chart right here, they look like they would blend together very well. So we're going to give that a go. As well as the reds. I picked DR7, which is a dark red 7, and then a DR3, which are pretty far apart in hue, but DR4 and DR5 have a lot of pink in them, and I thought these would look better, so hopefully they will. And then, yeah, so I'll do my best to, and then for his, like the inside of his paws and ears, I'm gonna make them pink, which I'm sure is not realistic, but he's not realistic. And then for the ornament topper, I'm going to use CG1 and CG2. So if I remember, I will post the colors in the description box. But if not, or try to post them on screen. I'll do my best to do one or the other. So, okay, let's get started. So I'm going to walk you through how I color one, and then I'll speed it up and let you watch me color at least one more, or maybe all 4. We'll see. So I'm going to start with my lightest shade, which is EB5. And I am going to, or I don't know, you know what, I'm going to start with my darkest shade, which is EB8. I am going to be cutting this out probably with a circle framelit, so I want to make sure that I do my best to stay within the lines. And I'm going to start, make sure you can see, I'm going to start with his ear. I'm just adding, and like I said, I really don't, I'm not an artist, so I don't know like where shadows should go or anything like that. I just like the color, so we'll see. And you know what? I don't even know that I want to use this 7. maybe we'll use 5 and then 7, because 7 almost looks lighter than 5. So hopefully this is the last bit of winter for us. Today is March 5th. So I'm filming this a little ahead of time. But man, have we been through the ringer. I mean, nothing like the Northeast, but for Dallas, we've had our share of winter all in 2 weeks. And we're on spring break next week. So hopefully we will have nice weather. I do remember my dad lives in Indiana, and I grew up in Oklahoma. So one spring break they came to stay with us, and they're like, oh, let's get a cabin on the lake. And I was like, okay. And then we ended up getting snow, and we were on a cabin on the lake. So it's pretty crazy. If you hear any noise, my husband is working from home today. So thank goodness, that was a fiasco. He got stuck on a train last night for almost 5 hours. Maybe not 5 hours. It took him 5 hours to get home from work, though. I was a nervous wreck. So I'm glad he's home. So I went over with what I'm using as my lightest color. And now I'm just adding in the dark. It would be dark under this big old snout, for sure. And this is the next color. This is actually EB5, but like I said, that EB7, when I laid down first, is really kind of bright, so. And then we'll go back over it with EB7. See how he's looking. Not too bad. I'm trying to make it look darker on the left and lighter on the right, so the shadow's coming in from the right. But like I said, I'm not the best at these shadow kind of things. Just gonna add in some more dark. Come back with my medium. And if I get any in his little eyeballs, I'll add my gel pen to fix that. Okay, let's get his paw. It'll be darkest in these areas. Sorry, when I pause, it's because I'm looking up to make sure that I'm still in frame, because that would be a disaster if I went to film this and I wasn't even in frame. I would probably cry. I wouldn't cry, but I would be disappointed. I would be really disappointed. So like I said, there's really no method to the way I color. I do tend to do dark to medium to light though, just because I feel like I can control it a little bit better that way. And then I go back to the medium. And then the darkest for those shadows, and then go back over the whole thing with the lightest again. And I turn the paper. I know that may drive you absolutely crazy, but I really want to so I can, it's easier for me so I can just color that way. So I'm going to go ahead and color his paw, and I'm going to start with the darkest on the left. All the way around these pads because those would be darker. And then EB5 that I'm using as my next darkest color. Doing my best to stay in the lines. And then EB7, which is my lightest. Because while that pink will push some of that color back in to the paper, it won't push all of it. So, not bad. Let's finish his last little paw. I love this paper pad that we're going to use from Cartabella. But you guys know I love Echo Park, and I believe they are one and the same. I could be wrong, but I think they are. But you know what? There's so many great paper pads out there. So many great, talented paper, you know, stamp companies, paper companies. That's why I have such a large stash. Because it's so hard for me to say no. If I find something cute, I'm like, oh, please let me have it. Oh, dude. I'm trying to be careful, and then I just go wickety-wackety-whack. And unfortunately, this is such a dark color, it's not going to be able to push all of it in. But hopefully, our pink will take care of that. So 7. Okay, then I'm going to take the EB8 again. I'm going to darken up this area. Okay. Get the lid back on those. Okay, for the inside of his ear and his paw, I'm using PP3 and PP2. PP2 is actually supposed to be the lighter color, but it's actually darker. So I'm going to use that first. And then we'll use the 3 to blend it out. So many people are interested in coloring these days, but just can't afford or can't justify Copics. And I really think these Spectrum Noir are a great alternative. I will say, I mean, they don't have nearly as many colors, but I think they have all the colors you need to color what you need to color. And again, get your basic sets at Joann, use a coupon, and they end up being like $6 or $7 for 6 or 7 markers. So you can't beat $1 a marker for sure. Okay, let's do his snout. So this is IG8. IG6. I'm going to go ahead and add some gray to the middle. So it'll be lighter, but it won't be such a stark contrast. But it's still showing up as a highlight. Okay, cool. So let's move on to, let's go ahead and do his scarf. And for that, I'm going to do it, I think I'm going to do red and gray. Actually, I may do red and blue. There is some turquoise, like some turquoisey colors, aqua colors in this pattern. So let me bring back out my let's do BT5 and BT4, and that's these two colors right here. I think they'll be a good contrast. So, ooh, should I start with the red? Let's start with the red. Oh my gosh. Red has a tendency to bleed, and it doesn't matter which brand of markers you're using. Sharpies, Spectrum Noir, Copics, Crayola, red just has a tendency to really move around. So let's see. Guys, see that? See? I barely touched it. You know what? I think it's getting dark, so let me turn on some lights. There we go. This whole hat may just have to be red. And then I think I'll use my blender to kind of add some highlights. Yeah, that'll do. So we won't use those for now. Let's see, maybe his hat can be plain and then his scarf can be pretty. So this is BT5. Oh wow, that's really bright. What do you guys think? We're gonna go with it because sometimes you just have to make a mistake on one and then the rest of them don't have to be exactly the same, right? All right, so let's bring in our ornament color and let's see. I think TB9 is gonna be the darker color. I'm actually gonna use my chisel. Let's bring in this other blue. See how these are gonna mesh. Well, they're not gonna blend as good as I thought they would, but I think they will bleed okay. I should have picked a different place to put a highlight, that's for sure. That's not too bad. Right. Actually blended a little bit better than I thought it was. Give it a little credit for that. So if you think you're going to color a one layer card, what I would suggest is trying the Gina K Designs Pure Luxury White cardstock. I've used that when I've colored one layer cards and it doesn't bleed through at all. It's fantastic. I will say that the color sits on top a little bit more, so that's a little different, but I don't mind it. Alright, so let me get some blender in here so we can add a highlight. And the blender is kind of a misnomer, so to speak, because it doesn't actually blend. It just pushes more the color deeper into the cardstock. want to darken up his snout a little bit more. That's a great thing about these markers too, or any alcohol marker really. You can add more color on top once it dries. Like I want to add more color on top of his hat. And then for the bulb holder, we'll do we'll put a little What do you think? I think he looks adorable. All right, so let's bring in, I want to put another shadow around him. So let's do BT2 and BT3. Oh, I've already been coloring for 27 minutes. Holy Toledo, Ohio. Good grief. This kind of helps to ground him, give him some background. Without having to color like an entire sky behind him. Okay, then I'm going to take the lighter color, BT2, and we'll blend this out. And I'm going to go one step further with my blender pen so it fades to white. Okay, he's done. Okay, so this video is literally already at 30 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to break this up into 2 parts. So part 1 will be the coloring, and I'll come back and we'll finish the card in part 2. Right? Maybe? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop right now, and when you see me again, we'll be ready for part 2.